All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the GlucoSezone. This is Diabetes Talk. I'm your host, Charlie O'Connell. I'm so glad that you've joined us wherever you are on your diabetes journey. If you're ready to reduce, reverse, and control your diabetes, you are in the right place. Okay, tonight's topic is about weight gain and answering the question, does weight gain cause diabetes, or is weight gain a symptom of diabetes? And I'm really going to break down the specifics of weight gain as relates to diabetes in general. But before we do that, I want to do a huge shout out to everybody who joined us at 6:30 for our first live broadcast through the GlucoSezone app. We had some technical difficulties, which, you know what, guys, live TV, it happens. Murphy's Law was definitely present tonight for us. So I want to thank you for sticking with us. And I want to encourage everybody who's listening, if you have not downloaded the GlucoSezone app, download it. You can still download it in the next 24 hours and join this week's GlucoSezone Challenge. We want to give you guys credit for all the exercise that you're doing, but the only way that we can do that is if you're logging your exercise in the GlucoSezone app. All right, so let's get into this very important topic, diabetes and weight gain. And let's start with the first part, which is diabetes caused by weight gain? And the first thing that you have to really do is distinguish and separate type 1 diabetes versus type 2 diabetes, okay? And we're going to start with type 2 diabetes because weight gain can definitely lead to type 2 diabetes. And excuse me. Excuse me. And here's the reason why. You have to understand where and how glucose is stored in your body if you are going to understand how type 2 diabetes is caused, okay? And we have a really great analogy that we share with people in the GlucoSezone that's called the parking lot analogy. And I want to encourage you to check out my blog about the parking lot analogy. But I'm going to break it down for you right now. So, there are 4 places where glucose is supposed to be in your body. And you can think of those places like parking lots, okay? And the parking lots are your brain, your liver, your muscle, and your fat tissue. Now, parking lot number 1, the most important parking lot is your brain, okay? There should never be a single parking space empty in your brain when it comes to the storage of glucose. If even one parking space is empty, you'll start to feel the effects of low blood sugar, okay? And if any of you out there have seen that funny Snickers commercial, or that Snickers commercial with Joe Pesci where they say, hey, you're not acting like yourself, here, have a Snickers, hey? And he eats the Snickers and he feels better and he starts acting like himself. That's a funny way of describing when your brain parking lot is empty, okay? So any food that you eat, when that food becomes glucose, the first parking lot it checks is the brain. Are there any spaces in the brain? Now, if there are no spaces in the brain, if your brain parking lot is full, the next parking lot that the glucose molecule will travel towards is the liver parking lot. Now, your liver can store between 70 and 80 grams worth of carbohydrate, okay? If there are parking spaces available in your liver, the glucose molecule will go in there. But if not, it doesn't matter how much insulin is present in your body, no more glucose can be stored in your liver if there is no space available for the liver. And if there is no space in the liver available for glucose, the glucose molecule will travel to the next parking lot, which is your muscle tissue. Now, your muscle tissue is the primary tissue that glucose and insulin is designed to interact with, okay? You can store anywhere between 350 and 800 grams worth of carbohydrate into your muscles. Now, the larger your muscles are, the more parking space is available inside those muscles, okay? The more glucose can be stored in your muscles. Vice versa, the smaller your muscles are, the less parking space is available, the less room there is for glucose. And again, if there is no space in your muscle parking lot available for glucose, it doesn't matter how much insulin is present in your body, no more glucose can be stored in your muscles if there is no space available for it. And if there is no space available in your muscles for glucose, the glucose molecule will travel to the last parking lot, which is your fat tissue. Okay? Glucose gets stored into your fat tissue into something called adipocyte cells. Adipocyte cells are individual cells that are literally cups that glucose gets deposited into as a liquid. And when it gets deposited into your adipocyte cell, it becomes a triglyceride. Okay? Now, the human body has on average 4 billion adipocyte cells. That means you have on average 4 billion receptors for the storage of excess glucose that has not been stored in your brain, your liver, or your muscle parking lot. Now, those 4 billion adipocyte cells represent about 30 pounds of fat when they are all full. Okay? And 30 pounds of fat is actually a healthy, that is the limit, okay, that is the limit of how much glucose you can store in your fat tissue. Okay? Once you go over 30 pounds of fat, people with type 2 diabetes start to develop something called insulin resistance. And what insulin resistance is your body starts becoming resistant to the effects of insulin. Remember, guys, insulin is a hormone that causes the absorption of glucose into the liver, muscle, and fat tissue. When a person becomes insulin resistant, what that literally means is their cells have no more room for the storage of glucose. And what happens? Your body starts to produce more and more insulin. Okay? And when you start to produce more and more insulin, two things happen. The first thing is your body starts stuffing your fat cells with glucose. Okay? And generally speaking, the average person, their adipocyte cells can swell to 3, maybe even 4 times their size. Okay? And your body will, more and more insulin, stuffing your fat cells, getting fatter and fatter and fatter. Okay? But once your fat cells reach their limit, okay, and there is no place for the sugar to go, that is when you develop type 2 diabetes. Okay? And so weight gain is the predecessor of developing type 2 diabetes, because weight gain occurs when insulin starts to stuff your fat cells with excess glucose. All right? Now, the reason why GLUCOSEZONE, the reason why our programming is so effective for reducing, reversing, and controlling type 2 diabetes is when you exercise, You empty out your muscle parking lots. When you empty out your muscle parking lots, you start to create the space inside your body for the healthy and natural storage of excess glucose. Okay? And that does two things. That brings your blood sugar levels back into a healthy range, and it also gets rid of excess insulin that's floating around in your body. Okay, all right. Now, let me just stop right there. I want to do a huge shout out to Shonda and Brian. Thank you for joining us and watching us through the GlucoseZone app. Guys, download the GlucoseZone app. If you want to get credit for the exercise that you're doing, and we want to give you the credit, if you want to have access to live and direct contact with the diabetes and fitness professionals that we have here on staff, download the GlucoseZone app and start having success today. All right. Also want to do a huge shout out to Dottie, who's joining us on YouTube. And Dottie, if I remember correctly, you're joining us from Cleveland, Ohio. And Dottie, I got to do a quick shout out. I'm rooting for the Cavaliers, but it's going to be tough. I know it's going to be tough. All right, now, Jerry Brown also joining us on YouTube. And guys, Jerry joined us for our workout at 6:30. We did an awesome weight loss for diabetes workout. Jerry was kicking butt. Okay, now, so guys, that's the first part, okay? And really, to address very specifically, is diabetes caused by weight gain? The short answer is yes, but I want to explain one other thing, okay? Because this will really help put into context something that might be confusing you. Have you ever seen that TV show, My 600-Pound Life? Okay? Most people have seen that reality TV show. People who weigh 600 or 700 or 800 pounds, their bodies are fundamentally different than the general population. And what's different about their bodies is they have the ability to continuously build more fat parking lots. It's a condition that's called adipocyte hyperplasia. And what adipocyte hyperplasia means is their bodies have the ability to multiply more fat cells. They literally create more adipocyte cells. That is how a person can weigh 600 pounds and not have diabetes. So you could have a person that weighs 600 pounds and every single parking lot in their body is full. Then they go to Chipotle, they get a chicken burrito with chips and a lemonade. They eat the food, okay, and their body, right, starts construction on a whole new fat parking garage. Their body literally creates more adipocyte cells, okay? Now, that is not what happens to the general population, and specifically, that's not what happens to people who develop type 2 diabetes. People who develop type 2 diabetes do not have the ability to continuously build more fat parking lots. Their adipocyte cells do something called adipocyte hypertrophy. And what adipocyte hypertrophy means is the adipocyte cell can increase in size and it can swell, but it cannot actually multiply. And that's why we see over and over and over again people who come into the GlucoseZone is basically they're anywhere from 30 to 90 pounds overweight, and they have essentially crossed the threshold of being able to gain weight. They have filled up their fat parking lot, and there literally is no place left to store glucose. Okay? And they develop type 2 diabetes. What exercise does, guys, is exercise increases your muscle parking lot, which your muscles are the primary tissue that glucose is designed to be stored in. Okay? All right. We got two other people joining us. Tartag DZ, absolutely, you can ask us a question. And my man, 1 Inch Johnson, is back on the scene. 1 Inch, big guy, I got you. I got your message, okay? And thank you for joining us again. And you know what, 600-pound person, that's a very, very challenging situation, okay? Now, let me just come back here for a second. Okay. And we've got a question that's come in, and the question is from Andrew, and Andrew asks, what is your favorite diet and how do you feel about weighing yourself? Okay, that's a really good question. So, guys, I don't really follow a diet per se. I don't even like the term diet. I follow a healthy eating lifestyle, and that's what I want to encourage everybody to do. But my healthy eating lifestyle includes one very important thing that I do every day. And the one important thing that I do every day is I have a green juice for breakfast. And I want to encourage you, you should all check out the blog post and the video that I made. It's called What is the Best Food to Eat Before Exercise with Diabetes? And what I explain is that the consumption of green juice for breakfast will fundamentally change the insulin and the glucose levels in your body and will cause both of them to come down. Okay? And really, we recommend, the only food recommendation that we make in the glucose zone is to replace your breakfast with a green juice shake. I cannot tell you how many people who have come through our glucose zone program have literally reversed their diabetes. They have gone from being on multiple medications for their diabetes to on no medications or on just one medication by simply incorporating a green juice shake for their breakfast and then exercising every day in the glucose zone. Okay? Now, in terms of weighing myself, I weigh myself about once a week. And my goal weight is 200 pounds. It's very important that you guys have a goal weight in mind and you're aware of if you're making progress to that goal weight, okay? But what I want you to be more focused on is your lifestyle and your behavior. If you are exercising every day and you are following a healthy eating lifestyle that starts with green juicing in the morning, you will be on your way to reducing, reversing, and controlling your diabetes, and you will definitely be on your way to reaching your body weight goal. Okay? All right, now, we've got a comment here from Tartag. Tartag said I've reversed my type 2 diabetes, but I still have a little bit of an issue with postprandial hyperglycemia when I eat sugar. Okay, so first off, Tartag, that's amazing. Guys, for everybody that's listening, it is possible to reverse your type 2 diabetes. And we have people that are in the glucose zone, okay, telling us right now that they have reversed their diabetes. So Tartag, thank you for sharing that, number one, okay? Now, in terms of this question of postprandial hyperglycemia. So what postprandial hyperglycemia means is high blood sugar after you've eaten. Postprandial means after consuming food, okay? When you eat sugar. So guys, sugar is very, very high in the glycemic index, and what the glycemic index means is that anytime you hear the term glycemic index, it's about time, the amount of time that a food takes to become to become glucose. So sugar, an actual granule of sugar will become glucose almost immediately. So you should see a spike in your glucose levels. So I don't really want you to bug out too much about if you are seeing a spike in your glucose levels, as long as those glucose levels are coming back into range within 2 hours. And by the way, that's what the oral glucose tolerance test does. For those of you who may have done, it's called the OGTT test, oral glucose tolerance test. Literally what that is you go to a doctor's office, they have you drink a cup full of sugar water. And then you sit there for 2 hours, and after 2 hours, they test your blood sugar. And if your blood sugar has come back underneath 120, okay, then you don't have diabetes. But if it's above 120, you have prediabetes, and if it's above 140, you have diabetes, okay? So a simple and easy way to deal with postprandial hyperglycemia, which is high blood sugar after eating, is to go for a walk, okay, or do one of our GlucoseZone exercise solutions, where if you download the GlucoseZone app, there are literally dozens and dozens of low impact, low aerobic exercises that you can follow, whether you're at the gym, whether you're at home, or whether you're outside, okay? And Tartag, I want to just encourage you, keep up the great work, and thank you for sharing that, okay? All right, I want to do a shout out to Jolynn. Jolynn is giving us a shout out. She's going to see us soon. Jolynn, I love when you join us here in the GlucoseZone for Diabetes Talk. All right, now, the next question, we've got a question from Ivel. Ivel Stewart, thank you for joining us. First off, Ivel, let us know where you're logging in from. And she asks, what do you use to make the green juice shake? Okay. All right, that's a great question. So, if you check out the video that we made, which is the best food to eat before exercise with diabetes, you will see a sample, okay, of how to make the green juice. But I want to do a shout out right now. There are 2 authors that I want you to check out. Author number 1 is Karin Heimberger. She is the founder of an organization called LifeBulb, and she has created an amazing diabetes cookbook. And the other author I want you to check out is Dr. Gabriel Cousens, and specifically I want you to check out his book, The Live Green Cuisine Cookbook. In the Live Green Cuisine Cookbook, there are phenomenal recipes that are diabetes specific and will give you good ideas for the green juice. Now, when it comes to making the green juice, I have a simple formula, and all it is a 3-to-1 ratio. 3 times the amount of dark green leafy vegetables to 1 fruit. So for example, I'm going to give you what I did this morning. I use a NutriBullet, which I highly, highly recommend, and I stuffed the NutriBullet with baby spinach. I then took a quarter apple and I cut it up and I put it in the NutriBullet. I then filled it with water, blended it, and I drank that for my breakfast this morning. So there are many different actual combinations that you can use for the green juice, but the general rule is a 3-to-1 ratio of 3 times the amount of dark green leafy vegetables. So that can be baby spinach, that can be kale, that can be Swiss chard, okay? That can be mixed greens, really whatever you want. Arugula is another really good one, with only 3-to-1 with fruit. Now, the other thing is, I want you to be careful of marketing and juices that are promoted as green juice, but they actually have more sugar than a Coca-Cola, okay? And there are some beverage companies out there that are very good at marketing, but they're horrible for you, okay? And you have to be really careful for that. So anytime you go to buy a green juice that's been store-bought or store-made, or is available in the store, make sure you are reading the ingredients, okay? And if you're not sure to look for, there are two companies that I want to put on your radar. The first one is Evolution, and they have a juice that's called Sweet Greens, and that's an excellent green juice source. Other company is called Ripe, okay? Both Evolution and Ripe create cold-pressed juices. Okay, all right. Now, Ashwin. Ashwin has joined us from United Kingdom in the GLUCOSEZONE app. Ashwin, thank you so much for joining us. We are so happy that you guys are embracing the GLUCOSEZONE. We can't wait to see the progress, okay, that you are making following the GLUCOSEZONE, reducing and reversing and controlling your diabetes. All right, now, next thing we got. Okay, hold on. First off, Ivel. Ivel is in Jamaica. Ivel, I'm jealous. I love Jamaica. Jamaica is one of the best places in the world. Fresh food, fresh fish, clean water. Okay? I've been to Jamaica a couple times. I want to encourage you, Ivel. Get the exercise in. Jamaica is one of the most incredible spots in the world for healthy outdoor exercise. Make sure you download the GLUCOSEZONE app and keep track of all the hiking, walking, and biking that you do to reduce, reverse, and control your diabetes. All right, now, okay. Now, we got a lot of questions coming in, guys, and I want to make sure that I get to them all, but I want to just get back for a second to what the topic was today. And the topic was does weight gain, is diabetes caused by weight gain, or is weight gain a symptom of diabetes? So let me take that second part. Is weight gain a symptom of diabetes? And the answer is weight gain can be a symptom of insulin therapy. In fact, besides hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, weight gain is the #1 side effect of taking insulin therapy. And there's a very straightforward reason for that. When you inject insulin into your body, if you are not exercising, all that injected insulin is going to do is going to stuff your fat cells with glucose. That is why people, when they start taking insulin, they have type 2 diabetes, if they don't exercise, they gain weight. That is why people with type 1 diabetes, when they are diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, they immediately start to gain weight. I'll give you a personal example, okay? When I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, it was a terrible situation, and I had dropped down to like 155 pounds, which for me, that was like about 45 pounds lighter than what I am now. In 6 weeks, I gained 50 pounds. And that weight gain came from two things. That came from becoming rehydrated, and that came from the effects of insulin as a weight gaining and fat storage hormone. Okay? So this is why, guys, diabetes is very, very confusing. Okay? It can really, really be challenging. And if at all possible, especially if you have type 2 diabetes, okay, you really want to avoid the taking of insulin, and you want to do what it takes. And guys, this is not easy, okay? Nobody is saying that reducing, reversing, and controlling type 2 diabetes is easy, but it's doable and is definitely worth it. All right, now, we got a question here from Letitia. Letitia, thank you for joining us on Facebook. And the question is, do I need to monitor my blood sugar to know what time of day is best to work out or to lose weight? I'm pre-diabetic. All right, so first off, Letitia, thank you for joining us. Second off, thank you for that great, great question. It's an extremely important question. And here is the answer. The only way that you will be able to tell if you are reversing your diabetes is by testing your blood sugar. Okay? And definitely testing your blood sugar at different times of the day, because you could be seeing fluctuations in your glucose levels, okay? And you could actually be exacerbating the rise of glucose levels, especially if you're working out in the morning, and you might not be aware of it, okay? So, Letitia, that really, really is a fantastic question. It's a very important question. And the short answer is yes, you should be testing your blood sugar, because if you have pre-diabetes, you have a chance to completely reverse the pre-diabetes through exercise, okay? And incorporating green juice, the green juice shake, as part of your morning routine, all right? So thank you for asking that question. That really, really is a wonderful question. Now, other question is about regular sodas versus diet sodas. So Jolyn is asking us, which is better, regular soda or diet soda? Okay. So first off, diet soda is not good for you. Don't drink it. Period. Okay? It is filled with chemicals that your body cannot digest. Okay? And it is sweetened. The actual molecule that sweetens diet soda and makes it sweet is 1,000 times sweeter than sugar. Okay? So stay away from diet soda. It's just not good for you. Now, regular soda, okay, for people who have type 2 diabetes, should be avoided and consumed in very, very small quantities. Now, there are two products that I would recommend you checking out. The first product is called Spindrift, and what Spindrift does is produce a very, very low-carb soft drink, and it only has it's almost like a seltzer, but it does have carbs. It has 2 to 5 carbs depending on the flavor that you get, and it's actually delicious. Okay? You get all the satisfaction of having a soda. It doesn't have the bad chemicals that diet soda has. It has a little bit of carbs. Okay? So I would highly, highly recommend checking out Spindrift. The other one is called Gus, and what Gus is Gus is a soda brand, and Gus stands for Grown Up Soda. And basically what Gus is it's regular soda, but has a much, 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 much lower sugar content. And they have a great ginger ale product that the amount of carbohydrate in a Gus ginger ale is like 12 grams of sugar off the top of my head, versus the amount of sugar in a regular ginger ale, like from Canada Dry, has like 60 grams of sugar. Okay? So if you are going to have sugar, okay, if you are going to have a soda, I should say, look for those sodas like Spindrift or Gus that do have a little bit of sugar, and avoid diet soda. All right. Now, we've got a question coming through from Ashwin. Ashwin asks, is fasting insulin is high? If I have hyperinsulinemia, how do I reduce it? Okay, so guys, what hyperinsulinemia is hyperinsulinemia is when you have too much insulin in your body. Okay? And the way that you lower insulin levels is by consuming foods that have a very, very low insulin requirement. And again, guys, I keep coming back to the green juice shake, but it's a proven thing that works. So for example, I gave you my green juice shake this morning. I have type 1 diabetes. That means that I have to take an insulin injection basically for any food that I put into my mouth, except for the green juice shake. Okay? When I drink the green juice shake in the morning, I drink a liquid that has all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that my body needs for the whole day with zero insulin requirement. What that does is lowers the presence of insulin in my body and enables me to start healthy fat metabolism. And ultimately, guys, enabling healthy fat metabolism is the secret to reducing, reversing, and controlling type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Okay, now, we got 2 more questions coming in, guys. We've already been going. We're taking it a little bit past our normal time, but that's okay. I'm really glad, guys, that you guys are engaged with us. And we've got a question, okay, coming in from Qatar, which is awesome. Guys, we love having a global audience. People in Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, we know that you guys are using the GlucoSezone, and we're thankful that you guys are doing that, and we want to hear about your success. So the question is, okay, is low carb, high fat, is that good for diabetes? Okay, and that is basically like a diet, more or less. Okay, it's called LCHF, low carb, high fat. All right, here is the short answer. The short answer is yes, low carb, high fat can be a very effective food lifestyle for people living with diabetes, because the consumption of fat does not cause the secretion of insulin. Okay? But I want to be very careful when I say that. When I say low carb, high fat, what I actually mean is low carb, a healthy amount of fat. Okay? That's really what LCHF should mean. Low carb, healthy amount of fat. You don't want to be going crazy. When we say low carb, high fat, that does not give you a license to, eat a stick of butter or, go crazy with fried chicken or anything like that. That's, just totally over the top in terms of fat content. But healthy sources of fat like almonds, okay, nut-based fats are incredible sources of energy. All of the omega-3 fatty acids that are found in fish are amazing sources, healthy sources of fat. Okay? All right, guys, we got one more comment. Maurice, we finally got Maurice to let us know what his real name is. Maurice, you are the man. The Adi MML, thank you so much, Maurice, for sharing with the group. We got to hear right here, guys. The green juice plus exercise is working very well for me. You know what, guys? That says it all. Here in the GlucoSezone, this is about real people having real results. If you are ready to reduce, reverse, and control your diabetes, wherever you are in your diabetes journey, download the GlucoSezone app and start having success with us today. I want to thank everybody who already downloaded the GlucoSezone app and joined us for our live exercise an hour ago. I want to encourage you, if you have not downloaded the GlucoSezone app, download it in the next 24 hours and take the GlucoSezone challenge for a week. What the GlucoSezone challenge for a week is do an exercise in the GlucoSezone every day between now and next Tuesday, and our professionals will see your results, and we will acknowledge all of the hard work, and you'll get the credit that you deserve for taking the fight to diabetes. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Okay? Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you Thursday, live exercise at 6:30, live Q&A at 7:30. And thank you so much, guys, for joining us in this inaugural GlucoseZone app Diabetes Talk session. All right, that's it.